Deadpool 2 dishes out pop culture references at a frankly sickening rate. Everything from Barbra Streisand to obscure Canadian comic heroes to fucking Taylor Swift's cat gets a shout out. Here's the best 69 we spotted, and that's a completely arbitrary number that we didn't struggle to make work for the benefit of a headline whatsoever. First off, the numerous digs at other X-Men and Marvel movies. The film opens with Deadpool saying "F*** Wolverine" for daring to be another R-rated superhero movie and for killing off the main hero. He also plays the little mechanical toy which depicts a dead Logan and plays "I'm All Out of Love" by Air Supply. We get a nice shot of Wade racing through Xavier's mansion in Charles' own wheelchair. At the same time, we learn that Charles Xavier is a fan of both Abraham Lincoln and Barack Obama. We actually get a tiny glimpse of the current movie iterations of Xavier, Quicksilver, and Beast, who quietly closes the door before Deadpool sees them. We also later see Deadpool caught wearing and subsequently breaking Cerebro. In the film, Russell's been living in / tortured at the Essex House for Mutant Rehabilitation. This is a reference to Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, an incredibly powerful naughty mutant who's been hinted at before in the X-Men Apocalypse post-credit scene. Hopefully, this is setting up Sinister to be the big bad in future X-Men movies. The best pop of the X-Men movies, though, comes in the mid-credit scene where Deadpool goes back in time to actually shoot dead the much-despised Wade Wilson from X-Men Origins Wolverine. We also get a sweet little nod to one of the only good scenes from that Wolverine movie when we see Deadpool slicing up some bullets just like he did in the films. There's also a lovely mid-credit scene where Deadpool kills Ryan Reynolds himself for agreeing to do the movie Green Lantern. As well as the other X-Men movies, Deadpool pokes fun at a good few of the Marvel films, whether it's calling Domino Black Widow, telling Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos in that universe, to zip it Thanos, or even at one point after he loses his powers saying, "Give me a bow and arrow and I'm basically Hawkeye," in reference to the fact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Hawkeye is almost universally considered to be a bit rubbish. This one is stretching it a bit, but please hear us out. It's a small thing, but we hear Rupert Holmes' Escape, the Pina Colada song, at one point in the film, which is pretty prominent in Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, if that song appears in Guardians, a film where songs exist as entities in themselves, which the characters are aware of, and also appears in Deadpool 2, which has a similar relationship to songs, does that mean these universes are both connected? Probably not, but it's still fun, isn't it? Our favourite Marvel bit, though, is when Deadpool uses the same lines we've seen in Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Age of Ultron that's used to calm the Hulk down. Sun's getting real low and all that. In Deadpool 2, though, he's using them to calm down Juggernaut, and that absolutely does not work. We saw some of this in the Deadpool 2 trailer about the darkness of the DC Universe, and it doesn't stop there. When Ness asks Deadpool where he's been, he says he was fighting with a caped badass until they both realized their mams were both called Martha, like in Batman v Superman. Later, when Cable asks who he is, Deadpool says, "I'm Batman." And I know Batman does say that a lot, but here in Deadpool 2, it looks just like the bit in the 1989 Batman. Deadpool 2 is so self-aware that we even see it referred to Deadpool 1 a few times, namely how it's just below The Passion of the Christ domestically as the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Or even giving a little shout out to the first film's joke about the cure for blindness being next to a load of cocaine. In Deadpool 2, we see that cure, it's more cocaine, and see him hoof the lot of it before going on a killing spree. And it's not just superhero movies that get a rinsing either. No film is safe. In the opening James Bond style credits, multiple James Bond films get a shout out, as well as Flashdance for some reason. In the weird credits that accompany that scene, director David Leitch is credited as one of the guys that killed the dog in John Wick, a film which Leitch co-directed. Early on, we get a nice little Raiders of the Lost Ark reference as Deadpool hightails it to his getaway vehicle, just like Indy does. Deadpool rips off Ace Ventura's Pet Detective's famous line, "Do not go in there," from the comforts of a recently deceased person's coffin. He also refers to his returning partner Dopinder as Goose, in a reference to Top Gun, which would kinda make Deadpool this universe's Tom Cruise / Maverick. That's not the only Tom Cruise movie that gets a nod, though, because Interview with a Vampire gets several shoutouts in the film, which essentially and purposefully rips off the entire Kirsten Dunst storyline. And speaking of Interview with a Vampire, one of the other stars of that film, Brad Pitt, makes a split-second cameo as the Vanisher just before he dies. At one point, Ness and Wade retire to watch some porn, only their version of porn is the Barbra Streisand movie Yentl. Deadpool also makes numerous detailed references to the fact that the film's famous song, "Papa Can You Hear Me?", has definitely been ripped off by Frozen's "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?", which he returns to as one of his final sentences on his deathbed. And if you fancy going a little bit deeper down Streisand's hole, the fella playing Cable, Josh Brolin, is actually Streisand's stepson. Good for them. Also in the film, Deadpool recounts a naughtier version of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, which frankly, we would like to see. Something we definitely didn't want to see though was an extended homage to the interrogation scene from Basic Instinct, which we get a load of when Deadpool has his baby legs, a situation which is also referred to as him going full Winnie the Pooh. Colossus rips off a line from Robocop at one point, "Come quietly or there will be trouble," but this is Deadpool's world where everyone has seen everything, so Russell and Deadpool absolutely call him up for stealing from Robocop. When Deadpool finds out that Cable is from the future, he asks him, "What Sharknado are we on?" Currently, we're on 6 Sharknados, which by our count is 6 films too many. In the Cable flashback scenes, we heard the song Tomorrow from Annie playing. Unfortunately, it's not the version we heard Ryan Reynolds singing on Korean TV whilst promoting the movie. In the mid-credit sequence, Deadpool calls Negasonic teenage what's-her-name 11, a reference to Millie Bobby Brown's character in Stranger Things. Russell's prison number is 24601, which is the number assigned to Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, the character played by Hugh Jackman in the recent movie adaptation. And our favourite little movie nod comes in the form of a badass slow-motion one-handed reload of Cable's gun in the prison scene. This has got to be a reference to another time-traveling cybernetic assassin. Surely. We get another little nod to the Terminator 2 when Cable shows up from the future and robs some rednecks. Okay, that's films and one TV reference. Let's get stuck into the comic stuff. At one point, Deadpool makes reference to a comic book artist who is bad at drawing feet. This is a big old shout out to Deadpool's co-creator Rob Liefeld, who famously has trouble drawing feet. The prison that Deadpool and Russell find themselves in, the Icebox, is a little nod to the Canadian superhuman prison in Maverick issue number 8. Now usually we'd feel like this was reaching a bit, but given Ryan Reynolds' love for all things Canadian, we think this is definitely on purpose. Same goes for that Say Anything Colossus scene we saw in the trailer. Zoom in on top of the cab and we see an advert for Alpha Flight, which is a reference to a team of Canadian superheroes. We also see similar looking inhibitor collars on the inmates of the aforementioned prison, which are frequently featured in the comics and more recently in the Gifted TV show. Deadpool rides a scooter into the prison transport assault scene, which is pulled right from the comics. The Juggernaut has a big presence in the movie, and when he's introduced, Deadpool quotes his favourite Juggernaut comic issues. Thor number 411, which sees Juggernaut transported from England by Loki to go on a rampage in New York, and X-Men Unlimited issue number 12, where Juggernaut is a prisoner of the Sitarak. Also in a conversation with Russell, Juggernaut refers to his annoying stepbrother who's in a wheelchair. In the comics, Juggernaut aka Kane Marco and Charles Xavier are stepbrothers, so hopefully this is setting them up for a future showdown. In the comics, one of Juggernaut's known accomplices is Black Tom Cassidy, who plays a significant part in the prison sequences. At the end, when Russell is going nuts inside the Essex Institute, we see loads of posters that say M-Day is near. In the comics, M-Day refers to a storyline in which Scarlet Witch altered reality in an attempt to rid the world of the mutant gene. This all happens after the events of another storyline, the House of M, which we get another link to in Deadpool 2 when Cable reveals his daughter in the film's name is Hope, who in the comics was the first mutant to be born after the events of a House of M, though Cable wasn't her father. We also get to meet the X-Force characters that have been revealed or hinted at in the trailers, but our favourite little nod to the comics X-Force people comes in the form of Shatterstar, who mentions he's from the planet Mojoworld, a planet based around a media network that forces people to fight each other for the amusement of the viewers and the planet's ruler, Mojo. It's essentially the X-Men version of Running Man, and now we definitely want a full movie based on Mojoworld. Just after the X-Force's amazing skydiving scene, we see an ice cream truck with the logo Pryor's Treats. This is a reference to Madeline Pryor, a clone of Jean Grey created by Mr. Sinister in the comics. She would go on to become Cable's mum. At the end of the movie, Russell scorches Deadpool coated in his suit in ash. This grey suit recalls the outfit Deadpool donned when he joined X-Force. But it's not just TV, movie, and comics that get the Deadpool treatment. Literally anything is fair game. Like when Deadpool wakes up in Xavier's mansion, he's wearing a t-shirt which says Olivia Meredith together forever. That is a reference to Olivia Benson and Meredith Grey, Taylor Swift's cats. We are so annoyed at ourselves for knowing what that was. One reference we hope that is bang on though, because it proves what we suspected, that Ryan Reynolds is the best human in the world, is when Deadpool is suggesting names for their baby, one of the names he chucks at Ness is Connor. This is likely a tribute to Conor McGrath, a 13-year-old Deadpool fan who died of cancer. Before his death, the Make-A-Wish Foundation arranged for Reynolds to show the first movie to Connor before it came out in cinemas. Well done, Ryan. Stan Lee doesn't make a cameo in Deadpool 2, even though we saw him in the first one. Though we do get a glimpse of Stan the Man in some graffiti in Deadpool 2. We can also see that one of the posters in the background of Deadpool's apartment has the words True Believers on, which Stan loves to say. And finally, perhaps our favourite little Easter egg in Deadpool 2, which is one we see in the news ticker during the report for Russell's initial attack on the Essex home. One of the more prominent lines on the ticker says Christopher Plummer refused his role in Deadpool 2, which is a reference to the fact that Plums reshot a lot of scenes for Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World, after it was revealed that Kevin Spacey is a terrible human being. Here though, it probably refers to Deadpool 2 actor TJ Miller, who has sexual assault claims against him, as well as recently being arrested for calling in a fake bomb threat. If you're watching this, Deadpool 3 or X-Force or whatever it's called, producers, please get Plummer in to replace Miller in the next film. That would be incredible, and the most Deadpool-y joke ever. That's it, that's 69 of our favourite Easter eggs and references from Deadpool 2. Let us know what we've missed and your favourite ones in the comments below. We're off for a lie down now, but not before we've watched our spectacular Deadpool 2 review, which we suggest you get involved with too. Go on.